What's up, guys, and welcome to Road to Crypto Millionaire episode 6. I'm really excited to bring this episode to you guys because in this episode I'm going to be going over some of the trades that I made this week through about the first 5 days of my experience on Binance trading altcoins. I got a really lucky week that altcoins started to pop off as I started trading them. I've never really taken this approach. I've never tried this strategy out, but I've had an incredibly successful week. Took my Bitcoin stack from about 0.115, so about $600, to 0.23 Bitcoin. So was able to double my Bitcoin stack, roughly $700 profit, and up about 200% on the week. So that's really lucky, that I was able to get in the time I did, because the market's just been really favorable for trading altcoins right now. Bitcoin doing its own thing, being very sideways, a lot of sideways action coming out from Bitcoin. So that's leading a lot of these altcoins to have bottomed out, and we're seeing a lot of patterns exactly like this one. Not quite to this extent. Phoenix being one of the altcoins that popped off this week that I was able to get in on, and I want to go back and show you guys my reasoning behind some of these trades and what you guys can do to profit while this is still a profitable strategy here. So as Bitcoin goes sideways, I think that we're going to continue to see a lot of these alts continue to see this type of behavior where we're seeing pretty volatile and a lot of volatility coming in on some of these top coins with the 24-hour change. So that's one way that is very useful. If you click on the 24-hour change, you can find coins with good volume. That's also what I look for, because obviously you want liquidity when you're trying to buy and sell. So that's really how I start to filter coins. You'll just click down the list and try and find some trades, good setups. So that's a little bit of how you guys can look for these types of setups that I'll show you here, and what I'm looking for. So to start it out, let's go with Phoenix. I got in this trade at 255. I'll show you guys. I want to be completely transparent here. If I can find it, I got in at 255 with 0.057 Bitcoin. Obviously I wish I could have, hindsight 2020, wish I could have increased that position size, but still very profitable, and got out at 624. So that was, I think, a 145% move that I was able to capture. You're never going to be able to buy the top and bottom, but as long as you guys can get the bulk of the move, you're going to be pretty profitable. So the thoughts behind me getting in on this trade, you can see here we had this big pump right here, and what I'm using here is basically just price action trading along with looking at the volume indicator. These moving averages can come in handy, but I don't really use those quite as much. So we see here, what I'm looking at here is we had this test pump and we saw quite a bit of selling, in fact more selling than we did buying. You can see that by the red candles being larger than the green candles, and we see these 3 big red candles. So this was obviously gonna come down quite a bit, but after that I think this was where I entered. Yeah, so zooming in here even more, we saw after this thing cooled off, we saw another test pump, and I think this was about a 10% move, yeah, from 220 to about 246, and this is when it started to pop up on this list. If you go to the front page of Binance, that's when you're going to start to see coins pop up when they're up about 5 to 10% in that top range. So you see here, we get this test pump, and this time instead of seeing large volume on the sell-off, we actually see consolidation here, meaning that this was a bull flag pattern where you're going to see some consolidation and then continuation to the upside. So you see little selling volume here, so that was something that I noted, and then you see another breakout, and I was looking to buy on a pullback. So we saw resistance here previously, so I planned on entering right in this 245 to 250 Satoshi range. I didn't quite get it perfectly, but 255 is still a good entry. So I entered right about here, I think, maybe on this green candle, I believe it was. Very close again to this previous resistance. Previous resistance turns into support, so I was looking to pick it up right here at this level. Got it right here. It tried to break out again, failed, and that's when we saw the volume start to come in on this breakout. Again, look, we can see here on this this pump, we saw little selling volume and big buying volume, so that's what told me that this was a good buy. And then we just saw this huge wick up. I think that wick only lasted for a couple minutes, where it was at 0.00001. So that was a 4x from that 255 entry. I wasn't able to sell up there, but I was still able to get the bulk of the move. I think I woke up and it was the next day, and that was where it was sitting around 580, whatever I sold it at, 560, or no, 624. Yeah, so did end up pumping again, and I think I sold it somewhere in here somewhere. But either way, that's about a 140% move that I was able to capitalize on. And you know, we saw again on this this next pump, there wasn't quite as much volume here. So right now it's kind of just doing its own thing, not too volatile in terms, and not too many trades that I'm looking to make on this right now. But that's my reasoning behind getting in on Phoenix. Obviously that was the bulk of my profits for the week, considering that that was a 145% move. And next up we had Doc, and this was actually a really profitable trade as well. Got in at 470 and sold at 562. I even could have sold at like 610, but I think I got a little greedy with it. I think I saw that it was at 610 and it looked like it was going to keep going, and I just got greedy and didn't sell. So if we take a look at Doc now, you see if I can find where I entered. If we see here at 1028 at 839. So where did I enter actually? I believe I got in Doc right around here, so that's 429. I got in at 470. So I believe my, yeah, okay, so here's what I was looking at. Again, we see the same pattern. We see this big pump leads to a little bit of consolidation. We see another test pump, and this time again we see very low selling volume during this consolidation. We see this bull flag here, and we see this breakout, and I think that this must have been where I got in on the breakout. I was looking at this on a much lower time frame, so maybe if we go to the 15-minute, I hope this doesn't mess it up, but I was able to get in. Yeah, so I was looking right at this break. I got in at 470 and wrote it up. I must have not been looking at the chart, because I probably could have sold way higher than I did. I sold at 560, 562, when, yeah, I definitely could have sold a lot higher. So I even missed out on a lot of profits as well on this. So, you know, buying that breakout, it obviously looked like it was doing pretty well on low selling volume here, and buyers were able to maintain this. And we sort of saw this like cup and handle forming, where you see this cup and then it breaks down, and then just continue to break out from there on huge buying volume. So that's my reasoning behind some of these trades. You know, you can see when you have consolidation on low selling volume, that as it approaches this resistance here, that I believe I might have even been buying the retest. I can't remember if I was looking at this on what time frame I was looking at it, but this technically broke out, and I think that my reasoning behind this trade was that I saw it retesting this resistance right here, and obviously when it touched that, we just rallied from there. So just another example of a really great trade you can make by looking at some of the top movers here on Binance. That was about a 20% profit, and you know, any day you can make 20% within you know, whatever time frame that is. That's like a couple hours. That's a trade you're gonna take 10 times out of 10. So Just a lot of opportunities here on Binance. I'll go over one more real quick. I called this one here on my Telegram. I entered POE at 208, and within 2 hours I was up 7%. We'll take a look at that real quick, and then I'll get into some resources that you guys can look into if you're also new to technical analysis and want to learn this stuff, because I too have been learning for the past couple months this stuff, and there's still so much that I still want to learn and have to learn, but obviously that doesn't stop me from wanting to get into the market and test some of these strategies out myself. So if we take a look at POE here, I believe I got in last night at 208 on this candle. Yeah, it was definitely this one. So again, we see that same pattern, big buying volumes here. This was already up a couple percent. You know, we see this big uptrend here. So this is obviously the 15-minute time frame. So this was up quite a bit on the day already, and I saw this consolidation here coming into this previous resistance. And anytime that you have an opportunity like that where it's consolidating on low sell volume in relation to the buy volume, it came into this resistance, bounced, and you saw we had that nice rally, this nice big green engulfing candle to get us up there. I got in at 208, and I even probably could have gotten in lower at 206. That was actually where I really wanted to get in, because I saw that this was a really nice level right here. It kind of double topped right here, and 206 would have been my ideal entry. Got in at 208. That's only a 1% difference, so I'm not mad about it, but just for future reference. And you know, we saw that breakout, sold at 223, and it actually rallied even more, but we did on even down here we saw decent amount of selling volume, so I was happy with that. Within 2 hours I was up 7%. You know, I'll take that any day, and I'm not too worried, because after that it just kind of petered out and consolidated and went into this downtrend here. So not really looking at POE right now or any of these to keep trading them. With Bitcoin doing its thing, down 2% on the day, I'm watching that, because that's really going to be what determines the sustainability of this strategy. Obviously it's sustainable, but what's making this strategy work so well is how we have so many altcoins that have this pattern of, I'll show you guys here, it just looks like a lot of them have just completely bottomed out and are ready to rally. I'll show you guys Pundy X. I believe that this is a really nice looking chart here. You can see we have this big downtrend, and now we formed this large accumulation zone, and we're seeing all of these green candles in this accumulation. So this alone tells me that Pundy X could be looking at a pump in the near future, because these are all potential test pumps that people are using. Every time we move up here from a resistance, it comes back and tests the support. We can see it up, and this being the resistance here at 220 or 23 satoshis, comes back, tests, comes up, back tests again, and it's kind of just forming this nice little uptrend. It's kind of hard to tell with this being such a low Satoshi coin, but we see this increasing buy volume here, which is really great to see on a chart where there potentially are test pumps. So just kind of my thoughts on that and where I see some of these alts going. You know, I was looking at a video from Trader SZ. He's one of the most respected people in the scene when it comes to trading, especially when it comes to Bitcoin. He's not too familiar with a lot of altcoins, but if we take a look at some of these charts, I would recommend you guys go look at this video, because it could be a very good indicator of potential setups here in the future for some of these altcoins that they're all forming the same pattern of bottoming out, and now they're starting to aim upwards. And so if we start to see some of these resistances broken, like for example right here, we can really start to see some of these altcoins fly. And that's where I'd like to see Bitcoin either hold its own right now or go up, because anytime we have Bitcoin consolidating, it's very good for altcoins. So getting into that's my recommendation for you guys on some of these altcoins and what I've been looking at this week, because you know there's gonna be a lot of opportunities here if Bitcoin holds its own. If for anyone that is interested in learning what I've been talking about during this video, I recommend looking into, first of all, you should learn what basic technical analysis is, you know, support, resistance, that whole shebang with price action trading. That's personally my strategy of trading, and what complements it really well is learning volume price analysis. And there's a very good write-up of some notes from the book here from at Howland. He does book reviews on technical analysis, and here's some of his notes from the book. You know, same exact concept of heavy selling volumes in the past, and now some of the market makers are trying to do test pumps in the market to see if we can get an uptrend going. Good buying volume, followed by low volume on the selling side. You can see on the red candles we have lower volume than we do on the blue candles, indicating that there could be that there's very low sellers in the market, meaning that it would be very sustainable to form an uptrend, and that you're going to have good returns by pushing this market upward. So that's kind of the concepts behind my strategy here on Binance, and looking at some of these altcoins that have just been forming these really nice bottoms and potential reversals. So I'll definitely recommend looking into this. I'll put it in the description for anyone who is interested. And again, this is also a really nice resource as well, Trader SC, as well as any other big accounts on Twitter. Not all of them. I'm not just saying any big accounts on Twitter, but him specifically, and some of the people he recommends are all very, very good resources. So if you guys have any questions on that, feel free to leave them down below, and I'd love to elaborate on some of the other stuff if you guys are still confused. So make sure to leave a like and a comment on the video if you're still watching. Turn on post notifications so you see when I post, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.